On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875.
Hey guys, I'm Jen. I'm a gamer, a photographer, and a longtime wrestling fan. Wrestling, especially women's wrestling, has truly evolved over time and is bigger than ever. I'm here to give my take on the world of wrestling, be it women, men, or whatever else is on my mind. Because if women in wrestling are being heard more, shouldn't women in wrestling podcasts be too? Welcome to Women Crush Wrestling! What's up, everybody? It's me, Just Jenny, here with my boy Adam.
What is up? I don't know. I had nothing.
Get more excited! It's SummerSlam!
Oh, God, you're right. I should try that again. Can we try it again, please? Let's go ahead one more time.
All right. What's up, everybody? It's me, Just Jenny, here with my boy Adam.
Summit!
There you go.
Yeah, see, SummerSlam's cool and all, but honestly, the show I think I'm looking most forward to is the Summit. Yeah,
exactly. I wanted to say that, but it came out SummerSlam.
For anybody who's listening to this on a Monday for free, that's cool. Thanks for checking us out, because hopefully you're somebody brand new that saw us at the Summit when we were there on Saturday. If you are one of our patrons listening to this early, first of all, thanks. Good for you. And secondly, it's Summit time, baby. We excited.
They were probably listening while they were in line.
I hope so, because the show starts at 9 a.m., so they're just ready to go first thing in the morning.
My God.
And but we get up early for women's wrestling. It's worth it.
That's true.
Especially the card that they've got. Anybody listening to us on Patreon, we're going to give you a little preview right now of what you can expect in the second half. Jen and I are going to break down the Summit card. That's what we're primarily going to focus on. The Summit was cool enough to say, hey, WrestleMedia, come on down and be a part of the event. And we're so excited for it. I feel a burp coming on here, and I know this is really your territory, so I'm going to try it. Suppress it a little bit there, and just say that God, we're so excited for this, and so much so that we had to talk to some people involved with the Summit, including Mary Lee Rose. She's going to be a part of the meet and greet exclusive match along with her tag team partner Jody Threat, taking on Alexia Nicole, former guest of the show, and Mevo Farrell, who we had on last week, fresh off of her WWE tryout.
It feels like the Summit bingo of interviews.
It really is. Like, got it, need it, got it. We're going to get to Mary Lee Rose part 1 of 2.
Ooh.
Next week, she's going to be back on the show, post-Summit.
Nice.
We're so excited to have her on the show. And you know what? I think we're just going to jump right into it. She's got a lot to say. She's so passionate about the wrestling business, and you're going to hear that in her interview. I can't wait for y'all to enjoy it. So if you're listening to this in line at the Summit, we'll see you inside. If you're listening to this after the Summit, well, go sign up at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and get the other stuff that we did, okay? All right, let's get on to Mary Lee Rose. I'm very pleased to be joined on the line today by Mary Lee Rose. Mary, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm really good. Thank you for inviting me. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm always happy when I get an opportunity to interview some incredible women wrestling talent, and you certainly fit that bill, Mary. You are so involved in so much women's wrestling in Canada and Quebec and Ontario, and you're going to be involved in a very special event coming up the week of SummerSlam. You are going to be part of the Summit, specifically the big the big meet and greet special, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But first, I want to ask you what were you up to today? Because for a lot of people, we tend to start at the beginning, where you grew up, how you grew up. But I kind of would like our listeners who maybe aren't familiar with you to kind of get an idea of who you are. Like, what was your average day like today? Who are you, Mary Lee Rose?
Well, I started now 15 years ago in my hometown in Quebec, Sorel-Tracy, in a federation that does not exist anymore. It was called XWF. And 2 years after my debut there, I started in Montreal in a couple of federations there, but mostly in the first all-female federation that was in Canada, called ALF. It was really the first, and it mostly became Femme Fatale a couple years after. But I was there in the ALF. After that, started in NCW and going a lot of places, like you said, Ontario, everywhere in Quebec mostly. A couple times in the U.S. too. like Shimmer, I did went once for the main show Shimmer and once for the Sparkle, which was the pre-show. So yes, and I'm in a lot of federation in Montreal, like NCW, LDDC Pro Wrestling. So yes, I'm in a couple right now. I'm active in a couple of federations, mostly in Quebec.
Very busy schedule, but that's a good thing. We want to be busy, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about where you grew up. What were you like as a kid?
As a kid, oh my God. Actually, it's not an asset that I'm doing wrestling today. I used to like to fight a lot when I was a kid. Actually, two of my cousins loved wrestling a lot, and they introduced me to the sport as they were practicing on me. Of course, I've been the victim in this story, but so yeah, they introduced me to the sport. But I was not an easy kid. But arriving at when I was a teenager, it was worse. Actually, I grew up worse. But when I found wrestling, everything calmed down. It was like a therapy for me. I went to a show, saw the first show, start training the weekend after, and it was like solving all the aggressivity that I had previously. But I was not a bad kid. I was just, like a little trouble.
And why was that? Like, were you kind of like, you said you weren't like a bad kid, but like, were you just like, you're just like an angry, you had a lot of emotion to get out of you? Or were you just like,
yes.
You hung out with the wrong crowd? What was it?
I think it was just like that I had too much energy maybe, and a lot of emotion, as you said, that to go out. I was the kind of kid that was fighting in school, like a lot. Teacher aided me because I was like, always on my feet during the class and everything, like too much energy to be sitting down during a 1 hour during the school. So I actually hated school, and it did not help. But yeah, so as a kid, not that I was a bad kid, as I say, is that I was not impolite or something like that. It's just that I had way too much energy, and the way that I had to make it out, to make all the emotion out, was actually I did dance. I made dancing, jazz dance during a lot of time, during like 17 years. And that was another way to express it, but not enough, obviously.
What did you like about jazz dancing? Like you said, you did that for like 17 years. So obviously that was an outlet for you. What did you enjoy about that? Well,
they put me on the stage pretty young, and I don't know, I liked it. I think I like wrestling for the same reason that I like dance. I like the stage, I like the choreography, I like the fact that you have to be like, it's a story that you have to you have to dance the story in both ways, like wrestling is kind of dance too. So yes, I think I like wrestling and dance for the same reason. It's just that in the dance, you don't like farm anybody or kick anybody. So
at least you try not to, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I think that's maybe why like I used to do dance, because that's, you don't have wrestling in mind when you have 4 years old. But, so yeah, I think that's why I liked it. And when I became an adult, I put the dance like on the side and start full-time wrestling. But yeah, I like them for the same reason.
So you liked it for the performance aspect of pro wrestling?
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, it's both an act. Like you have a character in your choreography, so it's both an act. So yes, I like that part mostly.
Do you think that affected the wrestlers that you enjoyed watching growing up? Because you said that you got into it fairly young.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, who were some of the favorite wrestlers that you watched growing up that you kind of gravitated towards? And looking back on it now, does it make more sense being like, oh, of course I liked that character. I love the performance aspect of wrestling.
Yes. I'd never really thought about it, to be honest.
You know, when you come on Women Crush Wrestling, we're very thought-provoking. We try to get to the heart of the matter, you know.
You know, when I think about it now, I know that when I was young, I really liked, it was the Attitude Era, so, and I know that the character that I liked was the more theatrical, if we can say that like Undertaker, of course. I really, really liked Bam Bam Bigelow. It was like one of my favorite, and I think that the aspect of the big guy doing flip, like, I really enjoyed that. But I don't know, I like the aggressive, but really character, not people who were pretty, like, normal, you know. I like Chris Benoit as a wrestler, but not as a character. You know what I mean? You
preferred, you gravitated towards people who were outsiders or misfits or...
Exactly.
Yeah. Was that because you maybe felt like a little bit of a misfit yourself when you were a kid?
Maybe. That makes sense.
Something to think about, right? I guess. Now
yes.
You talked about watching wrestling with your cousins. Did you have any brothers or sisters growing up, or were you an only child?
I don't. I am an only child.
And how do you think that kind of... Do you think that that was an advantage or a disadvantage for you as somebody who's now in the wrestling business? Because you hear lots of stories about people who grow up with their brothers and sisters, and you know they wrestled their brothers and sisters. Did you have that kind of close relationship with your cousins where you guys would wrestle and get together and really love wrestling together?
Well, it was not really wrestling together. You know, they watched wrestling and tried to move on me. So,
oh, I see.
Yes, I grew up like that, but we were close. When I was young, we were really, really close, even if they were cousins. I have two stepsisters that came in my life pretty young, too. So when I started to do wrestling, the youngest was my victim. So I was practicing my move on her, but it was not growing up like wrestling with my sisters so no, I don't think it's like a negative part. It's just that I created the moment on a different way, if I can say that.
Sure.
So, yeah. My cousin are responsible definitely for the fact that I love wrestling today and the fact that I'm not really scared of what's happening in a ring. It's because of them, that's for sure.
Now, you're not scared of what happens in the ring, but I have to ask about what did your family think, your cousins, of course, your folks, and your sisters, of course, once you made the announcement that, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to step in the wrestling ring.
Well, cousins were really, really proud. Close family were kind of not... Actually, my father, like, was not particularly happy about it, but it did not say, like, no, don't do this, you will get hurt or something like that. He came to see a couple shows, and, you know, he's behind me, he got my back, and he's not, like, happy about the fact that I'm doing wrestling, but he's okay with it. My mom, it's maybe another story. She says that she's okay, but when I talk about wrestling, she's not. So that's the difference between the two. So when I said to my mom, I do wrestling and I really love that, she kind of tried to convince me not by saying you'll get hurt, but saying, like, really, what's that kind of, like, you know, hobby? Or she was not really okay. She went to a show, like, back in the days, one of my first show. If it was not my first show, I was in a Royal Rumble. It was horrible. And I think that since then, she only remembered that, and she don't want to come back anymore. Well, I guess she know that she have no choice. That I will still doing, even she's not okay with it, so we just don't talk about it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
When you say that the match was horrible, do you mean it was horrible in that it wasn't a very good performance on your part, or the match itself wasn't good, or do you mean that like it was violent and, you know, it was not something that you would want your mother to watch?
I think, no, it's not the violent part, definitively not. It was more my performance or the entire show, as I can say. Yeah, now that, you know, like, I know that my performance was bad. I know that the Rumble was not that good too. So I think it was just, it was a bad show, and she still have these images of wrestling, you know, like the bad kind of wrestling.
You know, to be fair, I mean, she probably didn't realize if it was that good or bad, if she wasn't really a connoisseur. Like, she probably wasn't in the back reading, you know, copies of the Wrestling Observer saying, oh, I don't know, sweetheart, that's probably only a 2-star match. You really should be going out there and maybe working that hold a little bit longer. You know what I mean? And, you know, you know, it's your parents. They probably are a little more forgiving of that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, maybe. But not that she never wanted to come back to a show, but every time that I invited her, she find an excuse not to come. So I don't know, maybe.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today. It sounds like, you know, you're pretty hard on yourself. Is that a usual thing for you? Are you often your own worst critic?
I am. I definitely am. The thing is, here in Quebec, there's not a lot of girls in wrestling. And, you know, 15 years back, yes, there was the ALF, the Women Federation, that came out, and that was the only way to make us, like, shine, if we can say. Like, we were on a regular show, but we were treated as women, and like, and what I mean by that is, you know, we were not like necessarily considered as a match, but more like as an attraction. So yeah, I am definitely hard on myself, and I know that I am lucky today to still be there and now be considered as a wrestler, and having different opponents, which is different from back in the days when we were six female wrestlers in Quebec, always against each other, and not had the chance to become like really good because we did not had opportunity to go against better than us. You know what I mean?
I do, actually, and I wanted to ask about some of the challenges that come along with that, having a limited number of partners to work with, and also the challenges of being viewed as an attraction, a novelty, or maybe even some would say less than, or a joke. Like, how do you overcome that kind of challenge and frustration?
Well, I think the way I see it is, for me, it's a challenge. For me, I just want to prove them wrong. It's my way to overcome that, because if you just like sit there and listen to what they say, and just like, if you overthink about it, you'll not be happy in the sport. And you know, I'm not doing this as a job. It's not a full-time job for me. I don't know if I have like ambition in the sport, but the thing that's for sure is I'm doing it for fun, and I don't want anybody to kill that fun. You know, I don't want to go into wrestling and say like, I don't want to be here. So the way that I'm overcome like this is always to say, I'm going to do the best that I can, and shut them, like prove them wrong, just prove them wrong. And if they are not okay with it, I don't mind. I'm on the show anyway, you know, and I had fun anyways.
Do you have a personal goal set for the business? Is there a certain point that you want to reach or something you want to achieve? Or is your goal just to have as much fun as possible and just keep doing this thing that you love? Where do you fall on that scale?
I just want to keep doing what I love. I never had the ambition to go like in WWE or in a big league. I always wanted to be there, do the best that I can. Of course, with the years, seeing that women wrestling become something more serious and everything, of course, now if I have opportunities, I will take it. I think since wrestling is taking women more seriously, I started to take it more seriously too. Not that it was a joke for me before, it's just that it was a hobby, and now it's a passion, and I live it as a passion, and I know that if I have opportunity, I will take it. Like, as I did for the summit, of course, like, they asked me, and of course, I want to be there. So, yes, I will take the opportunity if it comes.
That's a perfect segue. Thank you for handing that to me on a platter, Mary. I appreciate that. Yes, let's talk about the opportunity that you have at the summit. What an incredible event this is going to be. Smash, Rise, Femme Fatales, of course, Shimmer, all collaborating for what I personally have to believe is going to be the biggest women's wrestling event in Ontario at the very least, maybe in all of Canada. Some incredible names, and you are one of them. You're going to be part of the meet and greet exclusive match. You and Jody Threat taking on Alexia Nicole and Meve O'Farrell, who I'm pretty sure you're familiar with already. You've got a little bit of history with her. You've worked with her a little bit in the past, have you not?
Yes, I did. It was like 10 years ago, I think, that I had my first match against her. And seriously, still to this day, it is still one of my favorite matches that I did, that I ever did. It was so much fun. She is freaking awesome. Like, I can say that. She is freaking awesome, this girl. So yes, I am familiar with her. I actually wrestled her too in the last Femme Fatale show that was in Quebec City. And she is still awesome, and it was a really good match too. So yes, it is a great opportunity, and I never wrestled Alexia Nicole before. I'm pretty excited about it. She is really good. She is actually one of my favorite wrestler to watch, so I'm really, really happy about this opportunity.
I mean, it certainly must make you very excited, not only to be facing off against somebody that you're familiar with, but also, as you mentioned, since there aren't as many opportunities to wrestle a variety of women, this is a great opportunity for you to take on some people that are kind of fresh in your mind. Do you feel that you would have been more excited to be working in there? Let me kind of rephrase this. Is it a greater excitement that you are wrestling new people in an untested environment, or do you think you'd be more excited if you were wrestling against people that maybe you were more familiar with and you were like, I know I can wow this crowd because I've worked these people over and over again? Do you feed off that kind of challenge that's presented to you, this kind of unknown challenge?
Well, I think I am lucky because I can say that I have kind of both opportunity in the same match. Like, I have Meve that I'm familiar with and Nicole that I never worked with. I feel like that's the best world for me. Like, it's because that's the best situation that can happen for me, because of course, as a big opportunity, you want to show people what you can do. And when you work with someone, it's easier.
Of course.
So, well, I am lucky that I have Meve on the same match than me. So I know that with her, it will be really easy to work, and I will be able to show what I can do. That's for sure. And I feel lucky too that I'm against someone that I never were in a ring with, because of course it's another way to show what I can do, but with someone different. But since I don't know what will happen for that, I'm pretty sure it will be good, but I hope so though. But I think I am really lucky because I have the both situation in the same match. So I will take everything that I can in my advantage, and I hope that the match will be like really, really good enough, but not good enough. I want it to be perfect, of course, but so yeah, I feel like I am really lucky for that. And it's not on the main show, it's on the meet and greet. And I'm really, really okay with this because, you know, it's like, how can I say? All the ladies will be out there and be able to watch it. And I feel lucky about this part too. It's just, of course, if they offered me something on the main show, it will be like maybe a little more, I'll be a little more stressed about this. But I feel like since I'm on a meet and greet show and I have an opponent that I know and another opponent that I never worked with, but I know I looked at her match, of course. And so I think I'm in a good place. I'm totally okay with everything about the show and the match. Like, yeah.
So at the summit, we know that some of the biggest names in women's wrestling are going to be there, and including Bull Nakano, who is a bona fide legend, is going to be there. But we've also got the likes of, you know, Nicole Matthews, Mercedes Martinez, Jordan Grace, so many more out there. Do you feel extra pressure knowing that there are so many top name talent there in the building and that everyone's going to be there trying to steal the show? Or does that just motivate you to bring your A game and maybe try to outshine some of them?
It's motivate. Yeah, I see it as a motivation, definitely. I don't want to overpressure me because I don't feel that's the right place to do it. I feel like it's an opportunity for me, and since there's so much talent on the show, I have to get my A game. So yes, so I feel like it's more motivation, definitely more motivation for me.
And there she is. Man, I really love that interview. She blew me away with her intelligence and her real desire for performance and for being a part of the world of professional women's wrestling and women's wrestling especially. I loved interviewing her. She was great. Jen, I am very, very excited for the summit. Shimmer.
No.
Yeah. It might be hard to imagine, but it is. That being said, I also want to say it's not the only shows we're going to be at in August. I want to quickly represent some of the other shows that we've been invited to, including Fighting Back 9, August 16th. In Ottawa at 523 St. Anthony Street. That's the St. Anthony's Banquet Hall. I'd invite you to get some tickets, but you can't because it's sold out. So instead, we'll say thank you. Thank you to everybody who bought a ticket, selling out this incredible charity event in which all the proceeds go to the Canadian Cancer Society. But the next night, you can still get some tickets for, which is the Chinlock Wrestling Academy presenting Fallout. Jan Murphy trying to get into a fight that maybe you shouldn't be in there against the vicious CJ Felony, who has the Cale Murphy Memorial Championship. But Jan's got to defend his brother's honor, so he's jumping in the ring. Saturday, August 17th from 824 Palace Road in Napanee. Tickets are just $15. Get them right now, and then come on out and see us at Chinlock Wrestling on tour. We want to thank you all for listening. If you want to help us out a little bit more, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're also on YouTube. Jen, did you get yourself a YouTube account? Last week you said you were going to do it.
Did I say I was going to do it?
Well, I thought it was implied. So no?
I'm busy.
All right, fine. Like, I got pregnant things to do.
I do.
So
it involves sleeping.
So don't be like Jen. Don't sleep on this opportunity. Get yourself a YouTube account and subscribe to ours. Hit the little notification bell so you'll get a ding every time we put a video up, which would be cool. Believe me, we're going to have lots of video from SummerSlam week, so we're going to be putting up lots of video content in the next little while, and you're going to want to see it. And speaking of things you're going to want, you can sign up for our newsletter. It's free. You can get it every single week. Just head over to WrestleMedia.ca, click the newsletter button, and that's it. You're going to get exclusive content. You're going to get to know what all the big stuff that was in WrestleMedia this week. Go and check that out. And finally, if you want to support us in a big way, you can do so at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Throw a few ducats in the bucket for us, and you can get cool stuff like early access to episodes like the people who are listening to this on Saturday. Woo! Or extra content like the people who are listening to this on Saturday. Woo! And exclusive podcasts like our Quick Picks and our Watch Along Wednesdays, which people got to do on Saturday.
Woo, woo, woo.
We have lots of fun here at WrestleMedia, and we want to include so many more people in the fun. So share the podcast, please. And if you can, be our own personal Dave Meltzer. Give us 5 stars with a good rating over at iTunes. Help us get up that algorithm. And then just share the crap out of this podcast with everybody you meet, even people you don't like, being like, hey, you don't like the things I like, but maybe we can find some common ground on this. And they're like, no. And they're like, listen, there's a lady on there, and she will beat you up if you don't listen. So,
True.
And she will do it. So
Hit you with my baby bump.
don't make Jen baby bump you. Sign up and listen. Let people listen to the show. Whew, I'm tired. I'm excited. I'm jacked. I'm ready for the summit. Jen, anything you want to say before we wrap things up for free this week?
Nah.
All right. Well, thanks, Jen, for that incredible input. We appreciate it. Thank you for listening, especially if you're new to us here at WrestleMedia.ca. It's wonderful meeting you guys. And, God, we can't wait to see more of you in the future. Jen, I think it's time to take it home.
All right, well, I've been just Jenny, and that's been my boy Adam.
Summit. Second.
Saturday, and Sunday.
And
We just crushed that.
Yeah, we sure did. Oh, man, I love King of the Hill.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. South Africa,
Heavy French.
Heavy French in
Heavy
South
French,
Africa.
yes.
But not in China.
And it's funny because South African accents sound Australian mixed with French.
How so?
It just, I don't know how to describe it, but when you hear them talk...
Can you try and give us
No.
one? Come on.
No, I cannot.
Okay, can you say something with an Australian accent?
Dingoes, babies.
Okay, now can you say something with a French accent?
Bacon.
And can you say dingoes, babies, bacon?
Dingoes, babies, bacon.
That's South African. That's South African. Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.